Ladies and gentlemen, I am back from the Pink Seats podcast, the one that you have missed. Jacob Lane here with a little bit of a head wrap. We'll get into that here in a second. Joined by my good friends Vincent Lococo and producer Keith. We are so excited to be back virtually tonight. I got into the studio and nobody was there. I don't know what happened. I guess I got the wrong memo. I don't know. But we are back from the Pink Seats podcast. I can take this off finally. I am healed. We are back. My mouth works. I can speak without much pain. Some pain.
Do you feel less wise?
I feel way less wise, and I have never seen so much blood come out of my mouth before. I have not been in fights or ever played physical sports outside of like getting hit in the nose from like basketball. So it was certainly a wake-up call.
Yeah,
but we are back.
Wild. Wisdom teeth
from the Pink Seats podcast. Jacob Lane, Vince Lococo, producer Keith. We got a lot to get into, boys. How are y'all doing? I've missed you guys.
I'm fine. I'm not eating mashed potatoes every day, Jacob. I was curious about your wisdom teeth. This is the last time I'll ever care about anything health-wise that goes on with you.
Oh, I must have. I'm sorry. Did I talk over? Did you ask me about mashed potatoes? I haven't eaten as many mashed potatoes as I thought I would, man. It's been a lot of Jello and pudding. Lots of Jello and pudding.
Ew. I just want to say I'm gonna go back and listen to this at 1.5 times speed because Jacob, you are on one right now. And I love it.
I'm excited to be back. I've been talking to my kids. I've been talking to the ice pack around my face. I've been watching Sports Center throughout the day, and Lord knows what that does to one's brain. But we are back talking football from the Pink Seats podcast. I haven't seen you all since spring ball. Obviously, you guys have been going strong. Thank you all for keeping the show moving. A lot of good information in the last couple of episodes. It's been fantastic to watch. You guys in the studio. I know you've mentioned that. We're going to continue to kind of unfold and tell that story over the coming months. But some exciting things happening here on the show. Subscribe right now, right below here on YouTube, The State of Lou. Go ahead and make sure you check that box. If you're listening, let us know. We've got a lot to get into tonight. You guys have been leaving tons of comments, engaging with the show, so can't thank you all enough for that. The boys are busy in the portal. Mr. Furman and the staff down on Floyd Street certainly keeping it busy right now. As we've had a lot of activity, we're going to get into a new segment. I've named this segment, guys. Portal Combat. Why didn't we name this before? I don't know. We should have before.
Because
Portal Combat. We'll get into that.
Two guys with the most CTE on the show to name stuff,
right.
And it's come on.
You got to see these notebooks, guys. I got like 5 or 6 notebooks of ideas that I've just been writing down for the show for when I came back. So we'll check in on that throughout the night. I'm kidding.
We got to send you on sabbatical more often, man. You're coming back better than ever. Portal Combat.
Yeah,
love
man.
that. Please tell me you're spelling it with a K.
I
don't know if the music's copyright or not, but get the editing team to boo, 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 boo.
Well, I mean, last time Jacob was on the show was the spring ball episode we did?
Yeah, at Cardinal Stadium.
Yeah, and even then, you were on like the back half of like 8 live streams,
yes.
Like a golf scramble, and it's like, wow, I mean, he is really just dragging himself through the finish line right now. So, yeah,
right.
definitely.
But look, like we got to end. We had to end in that moment with football, a live podcast out at the stadium for the first time. It was the perfect way to put kind of a bow on the 2024 podcast season and officially move into 25. So enough about me, man. People don't care why I had that stupid head wrap on. Nobody cares. They just want to talk football. And that's what we're here to do tonight. So let's dive into it. Portal Combat here on the show from the Pink Seats podcast. A lot of commitments coming in on the football side of things for Louisville. The portal, it's kind of hard to keep up with basketball and football. What's closed, what's not closed. You got people that are not even in college declaring for the portal. I don't know if you've all seen this. There's a former athlete that had 1 year of eligibility that's not even enrolled in college that put her name into the transfer portal. So at this point, Vince, we got you, bro. Get back in there, get you some games going. But you're not a part of this initial list.
I played 1 game of 21 with like a kid, like a 16-year-old at the gym and like 2 28, 29, 30-year-olds at the gym, and my knee ballooned up like I just played a football game.
I love it, man. I love it. Get you in the ice bath, get you back into feeling like, your old self again, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. But let's talk through these lists, these commitments, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commitments since the last episode, as well as a decommitment / recommitment. I don't really know what we're going to label TJ Capers, but the card's certainly active. We went into the off season really excited about the guys that they landed, but we said, hey, there's still work to be done post spring, right? One of those positions was tight end. And that's where we'll start. Louisville lands 2 commitments from the tight end position. There's a theme here. I'm gonna see if you guys can guess what the theme is. Why would I like these 2 guys? What do we think?
Big.
Yeah.
That could be it. Or their name is Jacob. I don't know. I'm just kind of drawing the dots here, Charlie Kelly style. We got CJ Jacobsen, the tight end out of Utah. and Jacob Stewart, the tight end out of San Jose State. So a little West Coast flavor, crossing over into the East Coast time zone. Fellas, what do we think?
I love the fact that we're adding more bodies to this room. This was one. I think on the last show I mentioned that we needed more. I wanted to see more tight ends. I mean, even the spring game. Yeah, right. The spring game, only seeing 2 kind of sucked based off the other guys being banged up. But I still want to see that weapon being used in the slot to where you can get matched up on a safety and be a matchup nightmare for a safety or an outside linebacker. I know that is the cheat code in Jeff's offense that just needs to be unlocked. Whether any of these guys are going to be doing that, I don't know, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, it was a tough look for the spring game when over 50% of our tight ends on the roster were injured. Like even the walk-ons, man, the walk-ons were broken. It was brutal. So being able to go out and get a couple of bona fide pass catchers like Jacobsen, you look at the practice clips because no game action at Utah. He's pretty mobile dude, big guy, able to get downfield. And he was a kid we recruited out of high school as well. Took a pit stop in Utah, wanted to see the mountains. It's a long drive from Idaho to Kentucky. He needed to make a pit stop there. And then Jacob Stewart, he's a really intriguing case. Played some JUCO ball before going to San Jose State. Like we talked about with Trayshawn Hurry, most of the targets at San Jose State going to Nick Nash, now NFL draft pick Nick Nash. So the opportunities he did get, though, he was able to maximize. Another pretty mobile big dude, but I love the way he's able to position himself open in coverage. And then you catch him in red zone opportunities. When he's matched up man-to-man, he's good at, for stealing some basketball terminology, using his body to box out to create windows for the quarterback just to put the ball so he can create scoring opportunities that way. Jacob Stewart, I would not be shocked if he's at least pushing Nate Kariski, if not passing him for tight end 1 to start the season.
I like the fact that these guys can put their hand in the dirt and block at the same time. Like all these guys everybody we have in the room, I'm more than comfortable lining up at a true Y position and, going and throwing a block. Whereas in the past, you couldn't love Isaac. You couldn't really put his hand in the dirt. Love Dwayne. You couldn't really put Dwayne's hand in the dirt at like a true Y. Marshawn the same, so it's nice to have these real tight ends again,
Yeah, no, it's a great addition to the offense, even if it is just depth purposes and pushing the guys that you have. One of the things I think that's underrated that no one mentioned is the ability to put Nate Kariski in the backfield as the H-back and not sacrifice anything at tight end. Yep. And I think that was one area. I think he caught 2 touchdowns last year out of the backfield in the goal line, kind of running that, that same kind of Marshawn play where they're just kind of faking it and then throwing it to him. I think that one, you can move Kariski around and get a little bit more creative with your offense and not sacrifice blocking or having another weapon out there to catch the ball. So I like both of those guys being able to step in. And ultimately, look, if these 2 guys just push Kariski and Jalil Skinner to be better, then they've won in the portal, right? I mean, because then you're having 2 guys that are already on your roster, take a step ahead, develop, become better players, starters. That's a big deal. So
this is going to make like we used to call it jumbo and Sats offense, the 3 tight end sets. You see in the red zone and things like that.
Love it.
With guys like this that we can actually rotate in and out and can play all different types of positions, we're going to be able to disguise stuff a lot better in those jumbo set red zone type situations with 3 tight ends in. Because I mean, like if Isaac's out there, take what we did with Sat. If Isaac and Marshawn are in the backfield, who do you think is going to get the ball out of that situation?
Right. It's it's Marshawn. And we used to talk about this a lot was when they would put Josh Lifson and Isaac out there, you're like, all right, come on, man. We both know neither one of them is getting the ball.
Yeah, they're blocking.
Yeah, we both know that's 2 people that they don't have to guard now defensively from a pass catching standpoint. So
exactly.
that won't be the case with Jacobsen or Jacob Stewart. Excited to get those guys into the fold. I think both have enrolled already. I think I've seen the announcement for both. I love how quickly this collective and staff gets guys enrolled. That is so important with this flip-flop, getting guys on campus, signed paperwork, contracts, on retainer with the collective. Big deal. Do you think they're like, hey, you ready to go now? Yeah, probably.
You want to
come
tomorrow?
Yeah, we got a private plane coming to get you tonight, buddy. Get ready.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the offensive and defensive line a little bit here, combining offense and defense. The staff has been super active. adding familiar faces and new faces. First on the up front with the offensive line, Louisville continues to add bodies there. They don't feel comfortable unless they have at least like 40 offensive linemen. I think we need like 10 deep at each position, man. But Louisville brings back Sam Secrest, who was a commitment here several years ago under the Satterfield staff, I believe, or maybe first year of Brohm, but transferred to Houston, played down there, I believe, inside at guard, right? And so played some snaps. I don't think he was a starter, but you bring him in here, solid depth piece, knows the program, going to fit right in. And then on the other side, Kendrick Gilbert, taking the trip up 64 from Lexington to the good guys. Keith, what do you think about those two?
So Secrest, I like him, getting him back. You know, like in the Amish community, he went and had his Rumspringa, and he decided to come back and rejoin us again. Some depth at the interior offensive line. Like we were talking off air about like what our theoretical two deeps were looking like, and I was kind of trying to figure out and struggling a little bit on who could potentially be that number 2, number 3 guard. So bringing in Secrest, who can play on the inside, but also has the versatility to bounce out to tackle if you need him to. It's a very useful player to have, and he's got familiarity with the program. Happy to have him back. Gilbert is a kid who go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just real quick, if you don't mind, I'm going to step in and just on the one thing that's really worth mentioning here is like we feel really confident that there's a lot of offensive linemen, right? But if you really start to kind of boil it down at the guard spot, it's a little scary because you have Lance Robinson coming back from a pretty significant injury or working his way back. You obviously have some new guys in Nair Jackson and Jordan Church, guys who are coming up a level, looking to step in. And then you have Carter Gilliam from SEMO, who is now likely going to be a backup after what, originally I think people talked about he might redshirt and not play this season. So the offensive guard spot is one where they need help and they need experience there. So it's great to get some of these pieces in, even if they don't play a ton.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gilliam's part of that 6-man, like that rotation at some point by the end of the year. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, this staff doesn't seem like the type to strategically withhold players below where they would be on the depth chart. Right. So like part of me was like, oh, maybe Secrest, they believe he's good enough to fill in that backup role this year so you don't have to play Gilliam more than 4 games, that he can keep his red shirt, and then you have a starting center for 3 years, potentially. I don't think this staff plays that, so if Gilliam's the guy for the job and he ends up getting more than 4 games this year, I mean, yeah, it's going to suck, but hey, we still got him for 2 more after that.
Right.
So
you brought in a guy with multiple years of eligibility for a reason, like you got to play him at some point when bodies go down. And Louisville, at one point was going to potentially have Renato Brown back, and they were going to have Austin Collins. And we've obviously seen how that's shaken out. And so now, it's time to put your money where your mouth is for this offensive line. Can these guys step in and be good enough to keep this run game and going and protect Miller Moss?
And that is one thing you get with Secrest. He's also got 2 years of eligibility remaining when you bring him in. And to flip sides of the ball, Kendrick Gilbert, who went originally committed to Purdue. Jeff Brohm was still there, took the Louisville job. Gilbert decommitted, thought we were going to be able to pull him here. He ended up going to the bad guys down the road. Did, I believe it was 2 years there, decided, you know what? I don't like what's going on over here. Let's head westward and join the good guys. And this is a kid who I think immediately steps in. We've got our Wu Spencer replacement. He's big body, big frame, could put on a little bit more weight, but one of the strongest aspects of his game is he moves really well for a 3 technique D tackle. I know there was a bit of confusion whether he plays interior or end. At Kentucky, they run that 3-man front, so he was technically listed as an end in that defense, but I think he will be a 3 tech here, and he's going to be pushing like Jerry Lawson and Selah Brown. He's going to be pushing for reps with those guys because this kid is very talented. Good closing speed, can pursue pull guards to follow plays, doesn't hesitate when blowing up pull guards or pull tackles coming his way, is able to get pretty decent pursuit in the backfield, and does a pretty good job eating double teams as well. This kid, 4-star kid coming out of high school, solid pickup for the D-line.
Yeah, I mean, this spot's all about that first step get off. If you remember, who we have TP talking about Yasir back in the day, and his first step get off, and winning that first step is just huge at this position. And everything Keith was talking about, I have to agree with. Whenever a puller is going, and then they teach you just to follow, having a kid like this is going to be awesome. I'm very excited, and I'm sure Coach Brohm will be pissed off going against this guy in practice whenever he's following our own pull. I can just see that now in practice. Somebody get it.
I'm calling this now. This is going to be a battle Keith faces all year with maybe Gilbert, maybe a couple other defensive linemen. And I'm obviously going to get into this conversation because I love when they get a lot of sacks on the defense, right? But like Keith labeled somebody, the type of person that box score watches, right? And if you look at Kendrick Gilbert, like the numbers and statistics aren't necessarily like popping off the chart. But what he's going to do is he's going to be a run stuffer. He's going to be a guy that's going to free up the linebackers to play more freely, to attack gaps, to be able to make that defense more whole and being able to really, take advantage of, the different rushers and different interior linemen that you have. So I think that's extremely important just as much as the sacks and tackles.
Somebody on Twitter said Mark Pope whiff. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Mark Pope. Oh my gosh, that's so good. It took me a second to connect the dots there. That was a good one.
Yeah.
On the defensive side of the ball, 2 more transfers coming in for Louisville. Justin Beadles, an edge rusher coming from New Mexico State by way of Houston, by way of Virginia Tech. And then we have Joseph Jefferson II by way of Purdue and Western Michigan. Justin Beadles will likely be somewhere between playing that Leo and maybe playing that other end spot. And then with Joseph Jefferson, I think he might be your answer as the backup to Antonio Watts in providing a little bit of versatility at that star position and then being able to play safety as well.
Yeah, so Beadles, big body, veteran presence, never really been a impact player where he's been, but he's always been a reliable, solid depth piece. That's what I expect we're going to get out of him here. And championship team needs guys like that. So getting a guy who's been a solid piece, doesn't appear to be trying to like outshine anyone, doesn't try to make hero ball plays, just goes out, does the dirty work, does what you're supposed to do. I like it as an ad, not for a splash ad, but bodies on the depth chart, more bodies to throw at an offense. Jefferson is a tricky one because he was only at Western Michigan for the spring before jumping back out from there and heading to Louisville.
Yep.
And at Purdue, now unless you all have a secret hookup, I don't have all 22 film access. So if you're just watching...
Or if someone wants to give that to us, we'll gladly take it. I mean,
they've got a lot going on. I don't know if y'all seen the news. They got a lot going on up in Purdue. There's been a lot of stuff happening off the field this week.
I don't keep up with the Boilermakers.
Man, their mascot essentially killed somebody. We'll go with that one. All right, Continue on.
So when you watch Purdue games, it almost appears like their defense is playing 10 on 11 because they just loved putting Jefferson like 16 to 18 yards off the ball and playing center field in their defensive set, which is so annoying in my opinion. And I'm thankful that we're not going to utilize him in that way. He's a guy who doesn't hesitate when it comes to taking on blockers. He's solid enough in coverage. Like he's not going to be like a lockdown Sauce Gardner kind of guy, but this is a kid with talent. Another 4-star kid out of high school, doing a couple years at Purdue, was a starter most of last year. I'm just curious to see how this one shakes out. And if anything, it's depth in the defensive backfield, which is something we desperately need. And it's another guy with multiple years of eligibility. So
yeah,
guys we can hold on to.
This is a random question that only we would ask on this show. Who is Antonio Watts' backup? Like, if somebody asks you that, Keith, they come up to you and they're at the watering hole that you frequent, and they're like, hey, man, I know you watch football. I know you love football. Who's Antonio Watts' backup? What's your answer?
Off the top of my head, like, honestly, Wesley Bailey really threw a turd in the punch bowl there.
I'd be so thrown off with that football junkie for asking me that question, for one. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, like you're my best friend, man. Come on, bring it in here. Give me a hug.
Honestly, it's a weird sort of position, so you can find a guy to put there. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see a guy like a Micah Rice get thrown into that role. Joseph Jefferson potentially coming in as the backup star. I wouldn't be shocked. You could see a younger guy like a Trent Carter get moved there if you want to use it more like a linebacker.
I bet it's more like that where, let's go ahead and redshirt somebody like Carter unless he's going to end up playing special teams or, special teams in some capacity, and have Jefferson be that back. I think Jefferson will play a decent amount this year for sure.
Yeah, got it.
Defense. So
now, if Watts were to get hurt, Caleb Perry.
Yeah, Caleb Perry's a good one. I personally, now this is just semantics, but I have D'Angelo Hutchinson. Now he's probably, starter at safety, but we'll see what happens with JoJo Evans and Corey Gordon. He played in that spot quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken. D'Angelo Hutchinson did, at least rotated in and out of it.
Dave McCullough could also be another guy they try to move to that star position just to accommodate a bit more of what fits his game. So
All right.
Yeah, I'm waiting on
last
college
topic-
football
Go ahead.
26 to come out to figure out my roster stuff.
Yeah, right.
I'll
We're still
let
waiting
you-
on
I'll
our
let
depth
you
chart,
guys
right.
know whenever the
Yeah,
video game
right.
comes out.
Exactly. I did see, speaking of Micah Rice, he posted earlier this week on Instagram that he is officially in the game for 26. So we're
That's
starting to get
awesome.
those
I
graphics
love
and everything
those.
out.
That just
Can't
makes
wait.
me so happy to see.
I know.
I
man.
mean, like,
I know.
I didn't even
It's
think
great.
about Madden this past year. The only time I got it
No,
and
me
played it
neither.
was whenever it was free on the PlayStation store.
But 2K26 is fire,
I
or
got that
2K25, I guess. is what we're
2Ks.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing here, and then we'll move on. Actually, we got a couple of things recruiting, but I want to quickly touch base on TJ Capers. I know you guys, we've talked about this day in and day out, so I want to kind of just point this question to Vince. Walk me through what the last 48 hours has been like for this guy, right? Like, he clearly feels like he's going to go into the portal. You know, like, how do you think this whole situation played out
Did
for a
he
guy that's that
officially
talented?
go into the portal?
No, but he was. I think the report was he was he was filing paperwork to enter the portal.
I mean, that's likely a conversation. That's probably him listening more to his coaches and outside sources. Like, look where everybody else has transferred off to, and look at the success that they've had. List off the guys. Jordan Watkins is the only one that's had a lot of decent success. He's in the NFL now, so I mean, kudos to him, which is awesome. But for him, his head was probably scrambling there for a minute, wanting to play.
Right.
Who knows what was going on internally? What kind of conversations? If he got pissed off one day and was like, "I'm fed up. I'm done. I'm just gonna leave. I was a 5-star. I can go take my butt somewhere else." But realistically, the grass isn't always greener, and I think this says a lot about TJ to where he is being able to tough it out. I mean, this is life. At the end of the day, you're not always going to be able to up and leave whatever situation that you're in. It's ironic for what I was texting you about today.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Great advice. I mean, that is very wise advice from one without his wisdom teeth. I mean, that's great, Vince. Good stuff.
I need to follow my own advice.
Who slipped the compliance staff at 20? Just be like, hey, we got 48 hours to submit this paperwork for him entering the portal. Take 47 and 59 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like the old. Do you all remember several years ago when Elvis Dumervil played for, I believe it was the Ravens, and they didn't get his contract extension faxed that time, and he became a free agent and signed, I think, with the Broncos?
With the Broncos,
those fax machines only come up like once a year, and this is one of those situations.
I mean, think about TJ's teammates. I bet he had some teammates that were blowing his phone up. Like, oh, come on, you don't need to do that.
Right,
like,
come on, bro. You want to start over again?
Yeah,
right.
You don't want to do all that. You're dealing with the same. Once a kid realizes it's the same everywhere, yeah, I mean, he'll be a lot better off, at least at the high level that he wants to play.
Right.
Selfishly, and I talked about this on friend of the show, Dalton Pence's radio program. Selfishly, I hope Stanquan has a really, really good year this year, but not too good, because I just want that Mike linebacking tandem of Stanquan and Capers for 1 year, please.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're right, though, and that's the thing.
See, I'm not opposite. I want to see Capers and Stanquan. I feel like there's just so much speed out there between the two of them that can be utilized. Love TJ Quinn, and I think he will make for a fine linebacker for us this year. As long as
Capers to star?
Well, you can take TJ Quinn and still start him and divvy up his minutes in half.
I mean,
or his snaps
you
in
can
half,
rotate
right?
three linebackers. We did that in 16 with Stacey Thomas and Keith Kelsey, or maybe it was the year before that. It was Stacey Thomas, Keith Kelsey, James Burgess. That's what it was.
That's also assuming he's ahead of Caleb Perry, though.
Right.
Yeah,
well, and again, you got to find guys to play in a couple of spots here, because that star position is going to probably absorb a linebacker. So, but then you have Caleb Matlow. You got these guys nipping at the heels, and I think it says a lot about, like Vince said, Capers' mentality. All right, let me try. Let me just give it all I have one more time. If it doesn't work, the portal will be there next year, right? I think it's a combination of these guys kind of getting freaked out that this might be the last big money year before the settlement goes into place, and guys are scrambling to see what their value is. But for a guy like him, man, it's almost in the cut of the Alabamas and the Georgias. Just wait your turn. You're almost there. The payoff is coming. Just hold on. And I'm hoping that that's the message.
Do you want to up and relearn a whole nother defensive playbook as an inside linebacker? That would be absolutely,
especially after spring.
Trust me, I had to deal with 4 different DCs in 4 years. Granted, I got switched to offense halfway through that, but CJ Avery, I doubt he was having fun throughout those 4 years.
Right. I mean, talk about Reggie Bonifant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just had breakfast with Reggie, and we talked about like how many times he wanted, like, realistically wanted to quit. Like, it's frustrating for these guys, but at the end of the day, Vince, you just told the story of what real adult life looks like. We can quit our jobs today. We can stop doing podcasting. Life's going to go on. People are going to move on without you. You're replaceable, right? And it's not like it's not meant to be like an overwhelming thing. It's just meant to help you understand that you got to push through tough times. And too many times in the recruiting day and age, kids don't do that. Real quickly, let's move to the class of 26. I know there's some visits happening right now. Let's save that for the next episode, and we'll dive into potentially some of the predictions that are out there. Go do your research. There's a couple of on-3 predictions for Louisville to grab another portal guy, but we'll hold that for the next episode. But let's talk about the class of 2026 very quickly. Louisville picked up a commitment from an offensive lineman from Campbellsville, Kentucky. Good old Taylor County boy, right?
Guess who was born in
the Lococo side of the family.
No, it's not
right?
the Lococo
is that
side. That would be the
mom's side.
That would be all the
Blankenship side.
Yep,
okay.
That would be my mom's side. Yeah, I doubt she even knows. I should probably text her. We got to commit from Campbellsville. She probably doesn't even know. They all know each other.
And that kind of county, man. She knows. Yeah, she knows this kid. Brighton Close.
Who was the hooper that came out of Taylor County High School back in the day? When I was in high school.
Quentin Gooden.
Yeah,
Gooden,
my mom was
right?
like, my mom was like, I went to high school with Quentin Gooden. Like, I know that family about texting his mom and stuff. I'm like, damn. Like that's pretty sick.
A friend of mine was the head coach at Taylor County all through the time with Sloan and with Quentin Gooden down there. So very familiar with the school.
I can't wait to get this kid on the podcast and ask him if he's ate at Druthers. Like,
there you go. There's your niche, hole in the wall, Campbellsville, Kentucky take right there on the show. Brighton Close. An unranked offensive lineman, but he's a big old boy, 6'6", 285. He's got that Keith Artoff size, man. You can't teach him. He's just a big bully, right? Keith, what do you got on this kid? What do you like?
So dove in on some of his highlight tape. Plays both ways, as a lot of smaller school kids kind of do. Speaking for that as well.
Their teeth the right way, man.
I assume that he'll be coming in as an offensive lineman, which, fun fact, I tweeted out a little bit earlier today, Jeff Brohm, while at Louisville, hasn't recruited a high school lineman shorter than 6'4".
Love that.
Which is just wild. But no, some of the things I love about his game, pretty mobile for his size. Like, they use him a lot on bubble screens. They have him pulling as a tackle quite a bit. He's got a mean streak to him. He gets downfield and he'll bully guys and he'll bury a guy until the whistle is blown to stop the play. He'll just keep driving into a guy and pushing him downfield. That's the type of thing I love to see. What I'd love to see him improve on is, and it's something that a lot of tall tackles deal with coming out of high school, just getting a little bit too tall in their pass pro. So working on more knee bend and just less standing up tall, leaves you less susceptible to getting bull rushed, gives you better leverage, better strength. So just regulating his height in the pass pro. We're pretty deep at the tackle position at this point in time, so it doesn't need to come in and start as a true freshman anyway, but it's another massive body that moves well, and you can't get enough of those in an offense, especially one that likes to get out wide and incorporate screens and swings and things of that nature. So good, solid ad, and he'll pair well with Max Mers, who's coming from Simon Kenton, I believe.
God creates certain kids to be offensive linemen and block, and this is one of them. I mean, the kid is huge.
He's huge, man. He's a hoss.
Yeah, he is like cornbread strong, and I love every bit of it. He'll be the kid that instead of asking, where do I go golf at? He'll be like, where's the nearest fishing hole?
Yeah, right. Yes, I love it, man. I cannot wait to get like this kid on the podcast, man. Like there's just so many different conversations with these kids.
You can go ahead and mark up, or Dan, you can go ahead and mark up the trip to Campbellsville. We'll be doing fishing on Green River for some bluegill.
Fishing on Green River with
I cannot wait.
The state of Louisville boys, that's fantastic, man. Go ahead.
Quick editorial correction, because I hold myself to those standards. Got to apologize to Max Mers. Goes to Highlands, not Simon Kenton. Highlands.
That's a big difference for them up there. That'd be like Trinity St. X if you said it St. X.
Hey, they're both blue and white. Okay, I do what I can.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll put a bow on Portal Combat. A little bit of a longer segment. We'll try to trim it down. First one is never the best. Second one, we'll get there. But big weekend this past week, guys. Big weekend. NFL draft.
I went to a wedding.
You went to a wedding. I
was
a
in a
picture of
wedding.
You looked super drunk.
I was
man,
in the
picture that
wedding.
I saw of you. I have this picture of you. I'm not going to show it on the show, but Emmy posted it. It is so good.
Oh yeah,
It's
show
Vince
it,
with
show
his
it. I know which one
Italian
you're talking
hair.
about. I'll show it. Go ahead.
Bro,
I know
I
which
have to
one
go
you're
and
talking
find it. It's so
But,
good though. It is just
about.
Italian
My best friend
Vince
got
at a
married,
wedding.
bro. I had to do we had to do a speech and everything. It was awesome. Which
That's
I would
awesome,
not have been able to do without this show. I guarantee you that this show gives me the confidence to be able to stand up and hold a microphone and talk.
So proud of you.
Yeah.
So proud. You're growing up, man.
I
What am I
know.
gonna do?
I know.
You don't need dad anymore. You two just big pups growing up, man. NFL draft. Speaking of pups, how about Papa Shough? I don't know if that's what we're calling him. Puppy Shough. I don't know what his name is. I don't know if they ever said his name, but Tyler Shuck's dog steals the show this weekend. Good old boy golden retriever. Tyler Shough, kind of obviously the big name that we were watching going into the draft this weekend. But Louisville has 3 guys drafted. And then several others that end up with minicamp invites, including our one and only Dwayne Martin. Shout out to Dwayne
awesome.
going up to New England. But let's dive into this, guys. We're going to do a round of buy or sell NFL draft style. How's that sound?
Go for it.
Delightful.
Let's do it. Okay. All right. I'm going to first just restate where we are. Tyler Shough, second round, third quarterback drafted, 40th overall to the Saints. Ashton Gillotte, third round to the Chiefs. Man, that is a dangerous combination, the Chiefs and Ashton Gillotte, man. And then Quincy Riley, 4th round to the New Orleans Saints, where he'll join Tyler Shough. On the undrafted side, you have Ja'Cory Brooks. He'll go to camp with the Commanders. Thor Griffith with Seattle Seahawks. Des Tell goes to Indianapolis. As I mentioned, DJ Martin to New England and Michael Gonzalez to the Falcons. I think there's a couple of others that I might have missed out there, but that's really the summary of the weekend. So load up the buy or sell music, boys. Keith, I'll start with you. Buy or sell. Tyler Shough will be the second best quarterback in this class when it's all said and done. And that takes into account Cam Ward, Tyler Shough, Jackson Dart, Will Howard, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. The list goes on and on. Keith, are you buying or are you selling that?
I'm going to sell it for this reason alone.
All right,
He's
we're
not
done.
gonna be
Keith
the
is out of the show from now on. See you, Keith.
He's not going to be the second best. He's going to be the best.
Damn it,
He is
Keith.
the
You
most
stole my angle.
NFL-ready quarterback of all these kids coming out. And Cam Ward, I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback, but Tennessee's just a situation where you are not going to be set up to succeed. Now, Saints, not much better of a situation, but you're in a division that has been historically...
You got Alvin Kamara, which we've said for like the past like 15 years.
I was going to say you got Chris Olave, but...
Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, a decent offensive line, a pretty damn good defense. I mean, dude, they're built to win there.
And not just to win immediately. And that division has been historically weak. I was trying to come up with a nicer way to put it, but we always find ourselves the winner of that division. Like, man, we need to get rid of the division winner making the playoffs. We need to blah, blah, blah. This is a division where if he comes in and he plays well,
he's the second best quarterback in the conference.
Yeah, one of my friends I got to see at the wedding is a Saints fan, and he's like, "What's Carr?" He's like, "Carr's not going to be ready for Week 1." Like Tyler,
Carr just gave a sermon over the weekend about praying for his shoulder. Like, I mean, out of the church in Las Vegas.
He's a Louisville fan too, so he was hyped about like both the guys they got. So
yeah,
and now I don't want this to be perceived as a knock on Ware, but there's a lot of pressure that comes with being the number 1 overall pick and going into a situation
wearing a retired
like you are.
Number. Keep going, Keith.
Oh, he's wearing a retired
He's
number.
wearing
at
1.
Tennessee.
They gave him the guy came out, and whoever 1 was before is letting him wear 1.
Interesting. So
I love it.
But when you're the number 1 pick, you come out and we see it a lot. These guys tend to press, and if you aren't elite or super successful immediately, you can see these guys press and try to do too much. I mean, shoot, Baker Mayfield's just now rebounding from trying to press and play while injured while up in Cleveland, which he survived playing in Cleveland. So good for Baker. So
that's a Hall of
Fame
jacket right there.
That's the point I'm making, Keith. Like, Tyler Shough is very much in conversation to be the second best quarterback in that division. Now, obviously, that includes Michael Penix, and we only saw a little bit last year. He only got his Penix out a little bit, right? Just the tip. But so this year, we'll get a better idea of where he is. But obviously, Baker Mayfield is the guy in that conference. Bryce Young is still trying to figure it out. Tyler Shough is going to come into a situation where they're going to benefit from a quarterback on a cheap contract. They have talent around him that's in their prime. They're going to build to win right away. And you know, we'll get into Quincy here in a minute. But Quincy on the other side is the exact type of situation as Tyler. Smaller contract, don't have to pay him as much. Could be an elite corner in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I agree with Keith. I'm not going to sit here and repeat everything that was just said.
You are
I was
selling.
I was selling it. I had the whole Tennessee sucks lined up. I had it all ready to go, and Keith just stole the fucking thunder. Way to go, Keith.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it could go either way. I would say that I would buy this. That Tyler Shough will be the second best. But guys, I know he's gotten a lot of slack over the weekend, and I would think that there's maybe an ego check that happened, but Shedeur Sanders, I think, is in a spot too where with time could potentially become a really good quarterback. I know he fell so far. It's the worst fall I've ever seen a quarterback take in an NFL draft. But still, he's yeah. So, anyways,
his next. He's got to fight incredibly overwhelming odds of being in Cleveland. First off, and it's the same sort of critique I have with Tua, not to get on my soapbox too much. He doesn't do anything at an elite level. He's got good arm strength. He's got okay mobility. He's got okay size. Like, there's just nothing really that jumps off the page and makes you say, wow. That said, if the draft experience humbles, I'm not going to even say humbles the kid because you want your quarterbacks to be confident, but don't be your dad because you're not your dad. You're your own man. Get in, grind, because this is the first time he's not playing for his dad.
Right.
Like,
and definitely don't be your brother.
Can you grind?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, his brother became
his
brother became my favorite Sanders over the weekend. I mean, did you hear the stuff he was saying? He's like, if they're doing this to you, imagine what they're going to do to me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. Dude, that is the ego check that I thought Shedeur would have, right? Shiloh just got it first.
Shiloh just left it so hard. Yeah, go ahead.
Second one here. Let's try to move through these a little quickly so we can keep the show on the rails here. Buy or sell, Ashton Gillotte will be a dark horse contender for the AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I'm going to buy this. Yaya Diaby was kind of in that fringe area where, I mean, he was flirting with some Defensive Rookie of the Year talks. He had some Defensive Rookie of the Weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I could see Ashton doing that, definitely with Chris Jones on the inside, too. I mean, can you imagine a better – say goodbye to the double teams, Ashton, because, I mean, they're double teaming that guy.
Get ready for one-on-one. Get ready to learn one-on-one, buddy.
Yep.
The only reason I am going to sell is because of the way Spags utilizes players. Like, he's not going to be a guy that's going to get 20, 30 opportunities on pass rushing downs every game. Like, he's going to be seen situationally. He's going to get rotated in, especially with like guys like Karlaftis who also play the edge there. Yeah. So I think he'll be good. I just don't know if he's going to put up the overwhelming stats to get Rookie of the Year. And that's it. Hey, I'd be thrilled to be wrong. I'm rooting to be wrong. Yeah. Something I don't say often.
It's funny, Vince, you read my mind. That was kind of where I was going with that buy or sell question because of Yaya. He was a third-round pick, kind of the same thing, found the right role. Maybe Ashton will wear number 0. That would be dope. I mean, maybe or may not that played into a role in Yaya being so awesome in his rookie season. But Ashton, it's all about fit and the opportunity, right? And so, the Chiefs are going to be a primetime team every single week. And if Ashton pops in games, he's going to obviously benefit from that. But
do you think he says I know whenever Patrick Mahomes walks up and says, hey, I'm Pat?
No, Ashton is way too humble for that. Like, I don't even know.
Look, man, I get it.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
But I do think, though, that Abdul Carter, like, I think that is, as of now, like, the number one, like, and obviously leader in the clubhouse for the Rookie of the Year. I know it's obviously on the NFC side of the ball. I don't really know who's on the AFC side outside of I know there was a couple of corners drafted in the first round. I don't really know if there's a guy. So that's kind of where I go with that being an option.
I don't know if there's very many guys in this draft in general, Jacob, but keep going, bro. I just don't think there's
I'll tell you who's going to win Rookie of the Year. Jacob's cat playing defense against the mice in his house.
Bless my wife. She's sitting here right in front of me, and she's looking at me like I have 3 eyes. When I'm like, "Can you get him, please? Like, what do you want me to do?
Do not throw Taylor under the bus like that." Buy or sell.
Last one here. Buy or sell. From the drafted perspective, Quincy Riley becomes the number 1 corner in New Orleans by season's end. Are you buying or selling that?
I'll be the bad guy and say sell. Kool-Aid McKinstry's really good.
Yeah.
So it would take a lot to overcome that. Now, if he was said he's the top pairing of corners, so he's one of the 2 on the field, that I could be more on board with. And again, love to be wrong if Q can go make that happen, but I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be the guy when it comes to the corners. And even just in that secondary as a whole, like I think they still have Tyrann Mathieu. They drafted Jonas Sanker out of Virginia, another huge pickup.
If Tyler Shough brings
what the Saints
Tyrann
did with that
Mathieu,
secondary.
if Tyler Shough brings Tyrann Mathieu another ring, I will love him forever. It's one of my favorite players of all time.
That's awesome, man. I would love that too. I do think I'm going to sell it, but I do think that Quincy is cut from the mold of a corner that just needs an opportunity, an injury or something to where he can sneak into the starting lineup. And then all it takes is, that second corner starting to lock guys down to be like, holy crap, like this guy is actually legit. You see it all the time. You don't have to be a first round cornerback to pop, just like running backs. Cornerbacks are 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders sometimes. So I feel confident that Quincy will thrive down there. Final one here. This was probably the surprise of the draft for Louisville fans. Outside of that, I don't know how many people are really paying attention, but Ja'Cory Brooks goes undrafted to a 1,000-yard season, one of the best receivers in the ACC. Buy or sell that Ja'Cory Brooks starts at least one game with the Washington Commanders or another team in 2025-26?
I'm going to buy that for sure. I mean, I don't know if Dez started a game. I know he definitely played in some games as a rookie. If not after his rookie year, is the second year. But Ja'Cory, in my opinion, is better than him, route running wise, going and catching the ball wise. I think Ja'Cory's in a great situation. I mean, for going undrafted, he's in a really good situation with who's throwing him the ball, what their wide receiver room looks like with Terry McLaurin kind of being, up in the air as he is. Debo's over there now, who, if he has one more Twinkie, isn't Debo over there now with the Commanders?
Yeah.
So if he has one more Twinkie, he's like done. So, I mean,
exactly.
Brett Brooks is in a good situation. I'm gonna buy this.
I'm gonna sell only because in the question you said Commanders. It's a really deep wide receiver room that they have over there. So I could see this being a case where Brooks is a cap. McLaurin, Debo, Luke McCaffrey, Michael Gallup.
Oh my God! I'm not giving anything to Luke McCaffrey after what he did to us. I'm not giving it to him.
Hey,
Jacob, you and Presley or you and Matt did a whole show over him.
Sure did.
Yeah,
for 3 days.
Yeah,
for 3 days.
No, not doing it.
So
screw that kid.
So. I think he ends up being like a roster size casualty just because he doesn't necessarily have the measurables that special teams coordinators also love to utilize. And if you're that 7th, 8th receiver on an NFL roster, you got to be able to play special teams. I don't know if he has that sort of build that special team coordinators love. I could see him being a case where maybe bounces around, gets a couple team practice squads, and then a team gets banged up at wide receiver core, and that's how he ends up getting on the field for a game. I could also see a case where, let's say, bounces around, doesn't get an opportunity this year, goes to the UFL over a summer, balls out, puts up 1,000-yard receiving season in the UFL. Well, that'd be impressive because they don't play that many games, but averages like 90 to 100 yards a game in the UFL and then gets a roster invite via that means as well.
You want a guy that can go deep and catch the ball deep for Lamar? Just call this guy.
There you go. And Lamar, I heard Lamar likes Louisville guys. I don't know. That's just a rumor out there. Yeah. All right, let's transition. Last part of the show. Sometimes football, sometimes not football. We get a little bit of a glimpse of what we're into outside of Louisville football. As you know, the segment is called What Are You Talking About? So tonight we're going to go around the horn here, and we are going to just dive into some of the most interesting topics that are out there. I think tonight we've got sports mostly in this conversation, but a little bit of some mixed bag. So I'm going to kick us off here. And guys, what I'm talking about right now is possibly the weirdest thing I've ever seen in football, okay? I grew up, big Louisville fan. Deion Branch was my guy. I idolized him. And when he went to New England, I became a huge Patriots fan. Just so happened to correspond with winning Super Bowls, which was great. But not so much a Patriots fan now because I learned to not like Bill Belichick. And so that's where I'm going with this, is Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has re-entered my life in a very weird way, okay? And that is now being the coach of a school within my conference that I cheer for in college football. What the hell, right? But if you know anything about Bill, you know Bill is serious about one thing and one thing only. What is that one thing, guys? What does Bill only care about in life? Do we know? Football, right? And if you talk about anything else, he doesn't want any interest in it. But all of a sudden, there's this new Bill on the block, and it's weird. It's really weird. Bill Belichick, in his mid-70s, now dating a 24-year-old woman. Look, Bill, get your freak on, man. I'm not going to stop you, okay? You do what you need to do. That's the way you want to go. You go for it. But the circumstances around this relationship are becoming weirder and weirder by the day, to where I'm starting to wonder if Bill is is Bill incapacitated and she's making decisions on his behalf?
Oh, he's definitely
This is so unlike Bill, right? And I'm using a first name with Bill because I feel like we can go there. But Bill takes the job in North Carolina. Very odd to begin with. Like, why the hell is he going to Chapel Hill? Like, he was connected with NFL jobs, right? But then all of a sudden, this 24-year-old girlfriend pops up who, as I asked ChatGPT to explain this to me like I was 5, they wrote that she is, how do I go back and find this? A 24-year-old woman who met Bill from, going back and find this, sorry. I don't remember where they met, but she now calls herself the COO of Belichick Productions. What the fuck is that? I don't know. But she's also his girlfriend / wife and follows him everywhere and gives him the command on when he can speak and when he cannot speak. This weekend, some video footage came out of an interview on CBS where they're asking Bill in this weird ripped up Navy shirt, like, what is he doing on CBS?
That's a fluff. That's a fluff interview too, bro. That's not a hammer.
It's right. And they're just talking to him about football and about North Carolina, and then they get into his girlfriend, and here she comes off camera telling Bill not to answer. Don't answer how we met, Bill. Don't answer this. Comes in, interrupts the meeting, shuts it down. It just takes a very odd turn to where, guys, if you know Bill Belichick, something's up here. Something is up.
Have you seen some of the speculation on how they met?
I have heard rumors that he could have potentially used a very rich service that helps rich older men connect to younger women.
So now the speculation, and please aggressively flash that this is speculation. None of this is
allegedly, Bill. It's all alleged.
So, I mean, we saw how Robert Kraft liked to get down.
Oh God,
so, and you go through her followers on Instagram, and she is following and followed by multiple women who work in that sort of industry. So this very well could be a case of Bill Belichick being a older, much less handsome version of Richard Gere. And we have a pretty woman situation on our hands.
Very fucking handsome. I mean, the t-shirt sweatshirt is legendary and looks phenomenal on him on the side. I cannot wait to see that in powder blue.
No knock on Bill Belichick, but
so
Richard Gere is a very handsome man.
Let me just flash this on.
Legend.
Go keep going, Keith, just so we have this.
All of this. So, that was one of the very popular theories, is that we're dealing with a case of pretty woman on our hands. Jesus. I'm curious how long they've known each other. Jacob, you said that she is 24 years old.
That's correct.
If they've known each other more than 6 or 7 years, I'm concerned.
Kendrick might have some words from Bill, guys.
Again,
let me just put this back up here. Yeah, allegedly.
Not saying it's fact. I'm not even suggesting that's the truth.
Now we're going to get sued by Drake, Steve. The great guys. Now we're screwed.
Just, it's reaching the point, though, where I'm kind of worried about Bill, too.
I'm worried about Bill, guys.
How pissed off do you think the UNC boosters who clamored for
Let my guy have some fun, guys.
Let him live, man.
He's been having to deal with the Patriot way and Robert Kraft's bullshit for years.
He's the one who established the Patriot way.
But let him have some fun.
This is the new way, the North Carolina way.
Yeah, this is
North Carolina Bill is on one.
UNC
Chapel Bill likes them co-eds.
Chapel Bill. Money, I love it.
Chapel Bill.
That's not new. Y'all hadn't heard that already?
Nope, you created it. You
could have just said that you came up with that on the spot, and I would have believed you. So, all right, Vince, what are we talking about?
Ooh, the big debate that's been going on the internet the past, week now, boys. 100 men versus one gorilla. And I have some words for this. I'm on the side of the gorilla if we're going 100 men versus one gorilla. I've seen enough AI. I've been deep into this. I've seen like 3 or 4 AI videos, and most of them we don't make out well. But I'm going to do this for you. Averaging out at a combined weight of 515 pounds, I bring you the one, the only, John Bones Jones, Habib the Eagle Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, and Conor McGregor. Sorry.
By them,
We'll scratch out Conor because I think he puts us over the 5. But just those 3. You give me those 3 people, I like my odds against the silverback gorilla. You give me John Jones, Habib Nurmagomedov, and Islam and Habib have already wrestled bears. There's video evidence of that. I could pull up videos and show you that.
The bear doesn't know that it's not a life or death situation when you're wrestling a bear. The bear thinks if it's a life or death. A gorilla could smash an arm just by squeezing its hand. If it bites it's got a bite.
It's gonna have to deal with the Habib Nurmagomedov double leg and
it's
Islam.
100 men, dude. No, 100 men all day long.
I'm taking 3 UFC fighters.
You're leaving 97 on the table.
You can take the other 97 to the bank and run. I'm taking John Jones, Habib, and Islam. Give them to me.
No. Now
Let's not forget Mike Tyson paid a zookeeper $10,000 to fight a gorilla, and he said no because the gorilla was scared.
This is outrageous. No, those 3, no chance. Gorilla in a landslide. Now, I was originally on the side of the gorilla in the 100v1. However, after listening to a very articulate argument posed by the director of Zoo Miami, Ron McGill.
I thought you were going to say after listening to 30 minutes of the Joe Rogan podcast.
No. Essentially, you're going to have guys know they're going on a kamikaze mission.
Oh, for sure.
You're going to
be ready to die.
But you got to get in, attack the eyes, attack the orifices.
Different. I'm bringing 3 guys that are ready to kill. I'm not bringing 3 guys that are ready to die. I'm bringing 3 guys that are ready to fucking kill, Keith.
Just no. If you bring 3, you're going to lose. I don't care who they are.
Crazy. John Jones, undefeated, never lost. Habib, undefeated, never lost. That includes Bears.
Episode name tonight, 3 guys ready to die. Love it. No context. That's the name of the episode. Brilliant.
I thought that was the episode after the Stanford game.
Oh yeah, no shit. Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. I'm taking 100 guys any day of the week. 100 versus 1 in just about anything. I feel good in the numbers now. Unless I got 100 Presley Myers, then we're going full gorilla, gorilla
golf
for sure.
Golf
right?
club, no golf club.
Right. So, all right, Keith, what do you got? Let's finish the show here on a bang.
Stanley Cup playoffs. Playoff hockey is, in my opinion, the best postseason in all of sports. We're in the first round right now. When this episode gets published, there's probably going to be a few eliminations, so we'll be at the tail end of the first round, getting ready to start the second round. But these playoff games have been fantastic. You've got the Battle of Ontario with the Ottawa Senators taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. That series right now, Toronto, who's had their playoff demons, up 3-1 on the Sens in the series. You've got the Devils and Hurricanes in a game that's just going nuts right now, and I'm pissed that we're recording the podcast because Devils start the game on a 3-0 first period. Then the Hurricanes answer back 3-0 in the second period. Now the Devils just put another one in to take the lead back 4-3, going back and forth. It's been nuts. And then the best series of all of them, the Edmonton Oilers and the greatest hockey player to ever touch the surface of planet Earth, Connor McDavid, taking on the LA Kings. It has been, if you like goals, watch this series. It's a West Coast game. It's usually 10 p.m. start times because it's West Coast. If you want playoff hockey, just tune into that series. It's been no defense, all goals. It's been fantastic.
Should we do a playoff live stream watch at some point in the next couple of weeks? Let's do it, man. Well, I don't know shit about hockey, but I'll take my shirt and swing it around the air.
You know where I'm at with hockey, Keith? I am ABC. Anyone but Canada.
So, to explain the greatness that is playoff hockey, I'm going to quote SB Nation writer John Boyce.
I'm sorry.
So, I'm going to quote SB Nation writer John Boyce. Why watch overtime playoff hockey when you can simply snort cocaine and ride a motorcycle out of a helicopter?
Wow. There it is.
That is the exhilaration of playoff hockey.
Playoff hockey is fun, man. I can't, like, hockey, a lot like baseball, is a sport I can't get into until the playoffs start.
Me neither. Same, but I'm down to get it. Like, if you're rowdy about it and Vince is rowdy about it and we got some beers and we got some folks watching, I think we can get down and make that happen. Let's do it. All right, that's going to wrap it up. What a great segment right there that was. Chapel Bill, 100 men versus a gorilla, but only 3 of them are ready to die in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Folks, that's why you come here to this show.
Only 3 of them are ready to kill.
3 of them ready to kill. I messed that up. Now, that'll do it from the Pink Seats podcast. Jacob Lane, Vince Lococo, producer Keith, thank you all so much for tuning in. I know it's 55 minutes of shenanigans here, but that is what you get in the middle of April when there is no football. But I say all that to say we will be back. Transfer portal continuing to go on. We've got some segments, some shows, some series coming up. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right here. Follow us on Twitter at Pink Seats Pod, at The State of Lou, at producer_Keith, right? Did I have that right? Is it just, yeah, okay. Yes, at Vincent Lococo, at Jacob Lane 08. Let's go. We will catch you next time. Go Cards, and go 3 guys against a gorilla.